What is going on, everybody? So I decided to start a Nano Aquarium 20 gallon. I'm going with the ice cap AOI Aquarium, and I really like this tank a lot. We just got it in here at the store. So I decided my little frogfish needed a new home. So we're gonna upgrade him from a 10 gallon to a 20 gallon tank. And I wanna walk you guys through that process. All right, so here we are. I put the tank in this corner right here. This is the only space I think will work for it. It's unfortunate though, because I can't view the tank from this side. But if I'm going to get a bigger tank later on, I need to save the room that I would have put this tank for a bigger tank. So the more tanks the merrier, obviously, so let's make it work. Let's go over the tank real quick. We have our overflow here. Tank comes with a little filter sock, a little attachment right there. It's got tons of space right here for any type of media, biomedia you want to put in there. Or Ice Cap also makes a protein skimmer for this tank too. I don't think I'll be going with the protein skimmer as at least not until this tank is like a year old. I think I'm going to start going with the biomedia instead. That's my approach going forward, but that can change. And I don't know what other biomedia that they add in this aquarium. I don't know what other attachments or like accessories they have with this tank. I'm going to look into it. And then over here, you have the return section. Here's your hose with a return nozzle. And then the return pump goes, I believe it goes in here in this section. Yeah, that would make sense. And the return pump is in this box. And it's just a standard return pump, nothing too crazy. You know, you can replace these things. This is actually a decent size return pump. And then, oh, that's cool. It looks like you can switch the speeds to how fast you want it to return. So you can have it more of a slower flow if you want to be able to maybe add some power heads to here, or you can have it kind of turned up higher and you can get the water really moving and going. So I just really noticed that as I open this up. That's really cool. So an adjustable return pump, that's a big win. As far as I'm seeing, that's what that is. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this all hooked up and get started here. I wanna escape, I wanna get water in here as soon as possible because I wanna get this tank cycled as quickly as possible. So I'm gonna go ahead and start doing that. But that's what the tank comes with. And like I said, I'm probably gonna add some biomedia, some sponge, and then probably some of this crushed coral. I'll probably add all in this back compartment. There is tons of space back here to put some stuff. And I'm hoping that they sell type of like racks or dividers or something like that so that we can have like the water come in here, trickle down to like the biomedia, and then maybe we can fit a protein skimmer in there too. Maybe protein skimmer biomedia, something like that. I don't know. Let's look into it. But in the meantime, let me get this scaped. All right, so here's the Aquascape I have so far. I was going for kind of like making him like his own little castle. I wanted to look real menacing, I guess. And I know this doesn't look natural, but I like that this is kind of like a little stairway for him to kind of climb up in and go into his little cave. Got another like little bridge section here, and then this is kind of jetting out, and the rock looks pretty. I think this type of rock looks pretty intimidating, pretty kind of scary. And that's what I was kind of going for. Now I have this dead coral right here, this piece right here, which once I get the sand in, I'm gonna probably grow some type of coral on here. Not sure what kind of coral I'll grow on there, but that's what that's for now. But I'm digging the Aquascape. I think it's perfect for him. There's plenty of little walkways for him to kind of go up in, plenty of caves, and he can climb all the way up here on the edge. I can feed him, and it's still open, not much touching the bottom of the tank. Now, you always do your Aquascape first. You always put the rock down first and then add the sand later. That is because you want to make sure that that rock is solid on the glass. And if you were to put the sand down and then put the rock, you know, if the sand moves and the rock moves, and it can all fall over. So you definitely want to do your Aquascape first before adding your sand. But this is the Aquascape I'm going with. I think it's perfect for the anglerfish, and I'm excited to put the sand in. All right, so here we are. We got our salt water in here. I prefer synthetic salt water. Make sure it's RDI water that you're getting. And the salinity is mixed to 35 parts per thousand. Now, we had the salt water in here, and then you're going to need something to start the ammonia cycle. Why do you need ammonia in your aquarium? Because you need the bacteria that comes from the ammonia, that feeds off the ammonia in your tank. Because fish produce ammonia, foods, waste, all produce ammonia, and you need those beneficial bacteria in here that's going to break down ammonia to nitrite, to nitrate, to make your water bearable for your fish. Otherwise, you put fish in here and they will get ammonia burn and they will not last very long. So it's very important that you seed your tank with ammonia. There's two ways of doing that. You can buy powder ammonia from your fish store and just heap a scoop in there, follow the directions as per gallons of what you have in your fish tank, and then have your ammonia test kit handy and just check probably every 4 or 5 days. The other way is what I did. I just use the Hikari Mysis shrimp cubes right here. I popped one whole cube in the aquarium. They're creating some ammonia in the tank as the food breaks down, because I don't want to have to buy a bunch of powder ammonia to start the tank. I just use food. It's what you have on hand. You're gonna need it anyways to feed your fish. So I popped the cube in there, and I waited about 4 days, and then 4 or 5 days, and I popped another cube in there, so 2 total cubes, and I let that run for a bit. And I think upon day like 10 to 12, I tested for ammonia. There was slight ammonia, and then I checked in the next couple days, so a little like 14, 15, 16 days, something like that. I tested again, and there was 0 ammonia in the tank, and that let me know that it was safe to put my buddy here, the anglerfish, the little frogfish guy right there, who's waiting for me to feed him, which we will in a second, bud. Let me know that it was safe to put him in here. Now, if you're if you're testing 0 ammonia, about usually it takes about 2 weeks or something like that. If you're testing 0 ammonia, go ahead and start with just 1 fish. You don't need to add like 3 or 4 fish in here, depending on the size of your aquarium. I would just start with 1 fish, a more cost-effective fish, to your tank, and see how they do. If they are still alive within the next 3, 4, 5 days to a week, then you can add some more fish and then work your way up from there. He's been in here now in this tank for going on a full week, and he's eaten and everything, so I know that the tank is settled in. I've continued to test it for ammonia just for any types of fluctuations, and it's good. So here we are. During this process, it's very important. You notice I have the AI Prime light on here, which I recommend for smaller nano tanks. Really like this light. What I want to say is, during your whole cycle, as you add the Mysis cube in there, try to keep your lights off. No light to your tank for as long as you possibly can. We recommend, when we're setting up bigger tanks or customers' tanks, keeping your light off for close to 2 months almost. Right now, I have a light on, but that's because I do tank maintenance and I'm used to this type of stuff. I have access to all the stuff that I need for good tank husbandry, but I recommend 2 months with no light. As long as you can go without having the light on, the better. Now, you also have to understand, you don't need light on in your tank if you have no coral in your aquarium. What do you need light for? Just so you can see the fish? Ambient light should be plenty to enjoy the tank. With that being said, this light is on because I did add a coral. I added this little zoanthid. Now, zoanthids I love as beginner corals. This one, frogfish, which his name is Vagar stepped on it, so it's a little bit in. He's flashing his little angler. He's hungry. Anyways, he stepped on it. But what you're looking for, the reason why I like zoas is because it's a soft coral. It's relatively easy level, but they're also pretty finicky. They're pretty intolerant of bad water chemistry. So if you notice that your zoas are not fully out and bright and they're receded in, kind of like how this one is receded in the middle, or they're closed up, that's a sign something's going on with your water. You might want to do a water change or go get it checked. This is the 3rd day this frag has been in here, and to me it looks pretty good. It was looking a lot better before he stepped on it, but yeah, 3 days of this, the polyps are fully out. It was looking good. So start with a zoanthid, preferably probably a cheaper one that doesn't cost too much money in case something does happen. But zoas are a good tester coral in my opinion, and you're also seeding your tank. Speaking of seeding your tank, through this whole process to turbo start things, I took some filter floss from another aquarium and I used it, which was an aquarium that was QT'd, that has no fish disease and no coral disease or pests or anything like that. I used a filter floss from that tank and I put it in a little fish baggie with the water, and I threw it in the back of this area right here to help seed the tank with not only copepods, but also beneficial bacteria that this tank is gonna need. So that basically supercharged this tank and let it get seeded faster, which allowed me to be able to do things like put this coral in quicker and also be able to have my fish in a little bit quicker. I also have marine pure balls in here, which have plenty of surface area that we can seed more bacteria in. I have them in a little media bag, so what they look like is like that little round little rock right there. very porous, plenty of surface area for bacteria to grow. So I just turbo started my tank with a bunch of bacteria. Getting that best beneficial bacteria in an aquarium is crucial to have a successful long-term tank, and giving it plenty of surface area to colonize is super important. So we got tons of rock work in here for it to colonize. We have a decent sized sand bed for it to colonize. In this whole process, I've only done one water change, about 30%. I haven't gone crazy, and I'll probably do another water change in the next couple of days. So within this whole cycle process, having the fish in here, I'm probably going to get on a schedule of doing, probably just do a 15 to 20% water change, probably every 2 weeks, depending on how the tank looks and how it's talking to me. So that's it. That's where I'm at right now. I got a little power head in the back for a little extra water flow, but I want it because long terms I want corals that need a little bit more flow. I love the AI Prime light. Look at this, one AI Prime. The way the shape of this ice cap tank is, it's tall, so there's no shaded areas. AI Prime is perfect. One of these is perfect for a tank like this. Not one area that's shaded, so you can put corals in every single corner of this tank and we're good to go. I know, like the Innovative Marines are a little bit wider. You really do need 2 lights on them. Tanks like this, you just need the 1 and it's plenty. So that saves you some money there too as well. So really happy with the way things are going right now. I'm hoping, I know buddy, I know you're hungry. I'm hoping that this coral does well, because I really would love in the next couple days to add more coral to this tank. But in the meantime, Vagar is bugging me for some food, so let's go ahead and feed him now. Believe it or not, the frogfish is eating one whole silver side. That's a pretty big silver side. Thing is huge. So how I feed, because frogfish are real picky eaters, are not gonna eat anything that's just dead. You gotta make it look alive. I take this little paper clip and I stick it through the side of the fish, and I kind of wiggle it around. So let's see how we do. So he's just look like it's alive. You can already see he's right there. And Vagar's ready. Now look how big the fish is compared to him. The fish is longer than he is. It's crazy. So come here, give me a kiss. Look, it's slowly going. We're gonna get this. I know you're hungry, buddy. Very purposeful. Gosh, the suspense is killing me. Do I have to kiss you? All right, here we go. Come on. Oh, there it goes. And just like that, gone. And that'll probably do him for about 3-4 days before he'll be ready to eat again. You can see it's already bending in his stomach. My goodness, what a beautiful fish. Love this guy. And that is it. That is where we are at right now. And we'll see how everything works out in the next couple of days. Got a little green slime, no big deal. The other thing I wanted to add, at this point, we don't really do cleanup crew, so we don't really do snails and urchins and all that things, just because it's not necessary. This tank is kind of barren. We gotta wait till it gets a little bit more life in it. There's not much algae growing, so if you just put snails and urchins in here, they're just gonna starve eventually. I do have one Monet cowrie in here, just because these guys are a little bit hardier than your turbo snails, and that's just to kind of clean up any excess stuff. But we have no green on the rocks, no nothing yet. So I'm gonna wait until we start seeing signs of green on the rocks before I get cleanup crew in here, because I just rather avoid it. I don't want to see them starve to death. And the fish is producing waste, but just not. There's nothing significant in here yet to justify cleanup crew. So, everybody says start with cleanup crew. Don't start with cleanup crew. It's not necessary to start with cleanup crew. Just when your tank tells you it's time to have cleanup crew, that's when you add it. But right now, this tank there's nothing going on here to justify cleanup crew. One snail, you start with one snail, that's plenty. Depending how big your tank is, you just need just a couple to start. You don't need a lot. The tank will get uglier before it gets prettier. Trust me. Next we're gonna start going through some brown phases here. We're gonna get some diatoms. We're gonna get some dinoflagellas. We're gonna get brown all over here. Then we're gonna get over that, and then we're gonna go to green. But because I left the lights off for so long, and I've dosed this tank with beneficial bacteria, it should help making that less of a problem. But we're probably gonna get some brown algae, and when that happens, I'll deal with it. But stick along and see the process of how this little Nano 20-gallon tank comes along and comes about. And yeah, let's see what ends up happening here, because I have some great ideas for coral through here. Frogfish is gonna be fun to feed and to have here. I'm excited. So yeah, follow me if you wanna see what happens in the future with this tank. Until then, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.